Hello everyone, Deborah Lee here with another That's Life message for daily living. Today's message will be on respecting parents. And as always, if you'd like to receive the transcript, reach out through my website. So, respecting parents. Exodus 20:12 is the only one of the 10 commandments that is followed by a promise. Honor your father and your mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. So in this lesson, we're going to cover respecting undeserving parents and how to be a parent that your children can respect and what to do if you've already blown it. I mean, we all make mistakes. Okay, so let's start off with how to respect undeserving parents. So about 10 years ago, I was the executive director of an organization that ran a boys ranch for at-risk youth. We were a level 1 facility, so it wasn't a lockdown, and we used a behavioral modification program to help these children. So part of my job was to review case files and determine if a child was a fit for our program. So many of these case files I read were filled with horrors. There would be days that I would drive home with a tear or two streaming down my face, wondering how abused children survive these kind of things. But we're going to look at some cases. So here are a few examples. Cases 1 and 2 are from my experience at the ranch, and cases 3 and 4 are from other resources. So case 1 is about a boy. He was about 8 years old, whose parents ended up with a shared custody agreement through the courts. Now, the courts had ruled that he had to go live with his father over the summer vacation. His first summer with his dad and his dad's new wife was a summer of horrors. He was locked in a closet during the entirety of his summer vacation. He was made to eat dog food out of a dog bowl. No restroom facility, no sunshine, absolutely no interactions with anyone. By the time he was let out of the closet and returned home, the child was destroyed. He needed intensive medical care, psychiatric care, and though this happened several years before I was approached to take him in, his level of care was way beyond what our facility could help him with. Case number 2 is about 2 brothers whom I accepted for the ranch. Their single mother had recognized that they were getting into trouble and came to me for help. She was a good Christian mother, very strong in her faith, who, along with her boys, had lived through years of abuse from the father. I read the case files, which included the documented abuse reports and their court documents from their arrests for petty crimes. While working with these boys, we kept hitting a brick wall. We would make some progress, but when Mom would leave after a monitored visit, which seemed to go very well, all heck would break out for the next week or so, causing us to lose traction on their treatment plan. After a few times with this, I realized that there was more to the story, and it was not recorded in the case files or court files. I called the mom to meet in with me and the residential director, and I explained to her what I was seeing and asked her to please come clean with whatever it was, with no judgment, so we could help her children. So she crumbled and went into remorseful tears. She was so embarrassed as she told the story. She had also abused her children when they were much younger, along with her husband. This was many years ago, before the divorce, and years before she had become a Christian. She was trying to get it right, but the damage had been done years ago. She loved them so very much, and they loved her. It was very evident. So case 3. I once worked with a Christian woman who had suffered horrors as a child. At work one day, she started acting irrationally, sporadically, and she was becoming confused and pacing the floors. I recognized it as a mental breakdown and brought her into the office to talk to her. I did it just in time as she proceeded into a full-blown psychiatric break. The noises that came out of her were nothing I had ever heard before, a mix of deep bellowing with wicked sounds and nervous laughter. I found out who her psychiatrist was and rushed her to his office. They immediately took us into a room so that she would not disturb those in the waiting room. I witnessed something that I had never witnessed before in my life as she melted down while we were waiting. I was truly afraid for her life and a bit feared for my own. After an injection, she was once again calm. What had happened to her as a child in most of our minds would be most unforgivable. Her mother was what we call in the old days a barfly. She had a problem with the drink and the drugs and would pick up men and bring them home with the promise that they could have her daughter as well. This kind of abuse started when she was quite young and continued until she was able to leave home at the age of 18. The rest of her life was spent receiving psychiatric help, and sometimes she would end up in psychiatric facilities. Most days she was highly functional, but when the lows came, it was bad. Her ability to hold healthy relationships was hard. She had struggles with hoarding, overspending, overeating, and other side effects from the trauma that she had suffered. Yet through all of this, she still found a way to have a relationship with her mother, even though it was kept at a distance. Case 4 is ripped right out of the headlines. 13 children locked in a home, chained to beds, emaciated, no clue about life, with age ranges from adult down to small children. So my big question is, how can someone who has lived through this kind of stuff ever be able to forgive and respect their parents like the Bible asks them to? These parents are unworthy. They don't deserve it. So how do we do this? Well, oddly enough, children of abuse and neglect will talk about how much they love their parents. This is called disorganized attachment, where simultaneously there is a need for and a fear of their caregiver. I'm sure that grown adult Christians who are struggling with this kind of past may have their stomachs churning a bit on this commandment. It's not easy to honor and respect someone who has hurt you so badly. We might even tend to want some payback. A good Christian therapist should be involved in helping with this type of healing. So here are a few Bible verses to help with the process. And depending upon where a person is in the healing process, not all these verses will be welcomed until progress has been made and they are ready for them. Learning how to live righteously, what is right in God's eyes, will be hard. So here's a few Bible verses. 1 Peter 3:9, do not repay evil with evil or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to this you are called, so that you may inherit a blessing. Matthew 5:44-47, but I tell you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, that you may be children of your Father in heaven. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. If you love those who love you, what reward will you get? Are not even the tax collectors doing that? And if you greet only your own people, what are you doing more than others? Do not even pagans do that? Romans 5:8, but God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. And Romans 12:19, do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, it is mine to avenge, I will repay, says the Lord. Just because you're being obedient to God and you forgive, respect, and honor your parents or parents for what they did to you, does not mean that you have excused their actions and will forget. You will need to honor them because God asked you to, and know that God will take care of their punishment. It takes a lot of courage to do this. It takes a lot of healing to do this. It takes a lot of forgiveness to do this. It takes a lot of God to do this. You must pray for the Holy Spirit to help you with this process and to give you strength to do so. Here are 10 helpful suggestions. Pick one to practice and start there. Each situation will determine where you start. Always consider safety first before you do any of these. Okay, the first one is forgive their transgressions, extend mercy, share the gospel, appreciate the good things, do something as an act of kindness, choose to speak kindly to them, consider writing a tribute, teach your children to respect their grandparents and extend mercy to them. Pray for the parent who mistreated you. Keep your parents connected with your family. So let's look at being a parent who could be respected. Remember, respect is earned. I was 40-something when my son went to kindergarten. I was the oldest parent in the kindergarten room. There were times when I was at the school volunteering or for school activities, And I was shocked at how families interacted with each other. It was not like the days when I went to school. I observed yelling, screaming, crying, cussing, disrespectful talk, and that was just from the parents. I watched his parents swatted, yanked arms, pushed their children, slapped their children on the back of their heads, really bad behavior. And the children responded to their parents in the same manner. When my son was about 4 years old, he went off on a tangent one day. Standing in our living room, he started yelling at me. Now, I don't remember what he was upset about, but I do remember how I handled it and how this outburst was used as a teachable moment for respect. I let him finish and sternly asked him to go to his room for a timeout for yelling at me. I told him I would be in to talk to him in 4 minutes. I watched him jump up on his bed and lie back on his back, and he was still steamed. He was and I closed his bedroom door. So I went back to his room when his timeout had finished and found him still lying on his bed. His demeanor was much more relaxed, and I sat next to him on the bed and asked him one question. Son, have I ever yelled at you like that before? His bottom lip started to quiver. No, he replied. Then I asked him another question. So what makes you think that you can yell at me like that? The poor little guy went into tears and apologized for his behavior. And he never yelled at me again, even through his teenagehood. So I was not a yelling, nagging mother. I always treated him with respect. I honored and validated his feelings, kept lines of communication open, and valued his opinions, yet was a very firm mother. I was not his friend. I was his mother. He knew when I said something, I meant it, and he had to experience that a few times, but he learned that I was a person of my word. So you want to model the behavior that you want your children to have if you want them to honor and respect you. Actions speak louder than words. So they may not always want to do what you say, but they will always follow what you do, such as the phone rings and you tell them I'm not here. Well, you're teaching your children how to lie. Number 2 there is to practice what you preach. Not do what I say, not what I do. No double standards. You can't have double standards. Keep your word. Don't waver, cave, or lie. Be kind and respectful. Be careful with your words. Children can be destroyed with words. Don't pass down harsh punishments. Be a parent who de-escalates situations and doesn't pour fuel on them. Don't exasperate your children. So let's look at what you do if you've blown it already. So regardless of what stage of parenting you are in, you can still make amends. Hint, as long as you have children, you are parenting. So regardless of their age, you can apologize for your parenting mistakes. I remember when I brought my home son from the hospital, I was in love with him, but I wasn't feeling attached to him yet. We were both new to each other. A couple weeks in, a friend had called me to see how I was doing, and I voiced a couple of concerns. Then stated that the hospital had made a mistake. So she inquired as to what that would be, and I said they forgot to send home the instruction book. So, no instruction book, and it kind of feels like that the whole time you're raising your children, because children hit their benchmarks at different stages, have different personalities and different needs, and you combine those things with other possible influences, it would be impossible to write an instruction book for each child. So if you are a parent, give yourself a break. You are gonna make mistakes. And without excuses, we need to also keep in mind that sometimes our actions can result in lasting emotional damage to a child, intentional or not. Some feel that it is a sign of weakness to ever apologize to anyone and feel that one would lose their parental authority over their children if they were to ever apologize to them. Both reasons are false. Apologizing takes strength. It builds stronger relationships, it promotes well-being, and it will earn you currency in your respect account. And it sets a great example for others to learn from, especially your children. It is never too late to tell little Johnny that you are sorry that you lost your temper with him. It's never too late to apologize to Susie for witnessing her mommy lie to a friend. It is never too late to tell your teenage daughter that you are sorry for judging a situation wrongly. It is never too late to tell your children that you made a mistake in how you mishandled a circumstance. When apologizing and asking for forgiveness from children or even adult children, make sure you do it properly and without including the word but. So You might say, I'm so sorry I didn't get to spend much time with you children while you were growing up. End of sentence. Don't say, I am so sorry I didn't get to spend much time with you children while you were growing up, but I was a single parent and had to do what I had to do. So they don't want to hear the but from you. Their ears hear buts as excuses, so let them do the but when they are ready. For example, you might hear, but I understand, Mom. You were doing your best to take care of us. Working all those jobs, we understood why you didn't have much time to spend with us. Or you may not get a response at all. The main thing is to validate what happened with each child without excuses for your actions, whether your intentions were good or not. The expression of apology may not be the time to ask for forgiveness. Depending upon the offense, let them have time to process the apology first. Maybe at some point they will be ready for the forgiveness part and offer it up themselves on their terms. It is never too late to upgrade your parenting skills and earn some points in your respect bucket. Be a leader in this and begin making wiser choices by praying to God and asking for His help. He will reveal your weaknesses in parenting. Let Him walk with you and give you the strength you need as you recognize and admit your shortfalls to Him, to yourself, and to your children. Let your family see your strength as you ask them for forgiveness, and let them see your growth in the Lord as you learn new ways to lead and parent by example. Thanks for listening, everyone. The next topic for That's Life will be on Body as Temple, Healing from the Past, Sexual Pain. Don't forget to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to stay connected. Until next time, be blessed.